It's round 2 for Scooby-Doo and the WWE. Let's get this slobber knocker underway. So Scooby-Doo and the WWE Curse of the Speed Demon is actually a direct sequel to WrestleMania Mystery, which came out a couple of years ago. You know, I actually wasn't sure if they were going to make these movies their own things, or if they were going to actually establish that this is a sequel, which they did, and obviously it makes sense because the WWE crossover. Also, they did reference quite a few things that happened in WrestleMania Mystery, as well as a couple of WWE superstars showing up in this movie, like Vince McMahon, Michael Cole, Triple H, and The Miz. And of course, they brought in some new superstars to be in this movie, like Kofi Kingston, Rusev and Lana, Stephanie McMahon, Sheamus, The Undertaker, who was great, and Paige, who was one of the best things about this movie. Not that I have a bias for Paige or anything. Now, because cartoons take a long time to make and the WWE has a very fast-paced storyline, there's going to be some characters in this movie who are either no longer with the WWE or are part of some new gimmick. For example, they had the Matadors and El Torito in this movie who are not a team anymore. At least I don't think they are. Then there's Goldust and Stardust, who are not a tag team anymore either. But surprisingly, and I actually didn't know he was in this, Dusty Rhodes is in this movie. Now, if you're not familiar with WWE, Dusty Rhodes is a WWE Hall of Famer who unfortunately passed away a year ago. I used to love Dusty Rhodes. I used to love when he did commentary in WCW, and it was really cool that they actually dedicated the movie to him after the credits. But I have to admit, it was very bittersweet to see and hear him in this movie again, and obviously it was one of the last things he did. And of course, all the wrestlers voiced themselves, and as far as the Scooby Gang goes, you got all the regulars for Scooby-Doo: Matthew Lillard, Greg Griffin, Kate Micucci, who's the new Velma, and of course, good old Frank Welker. So the plot of this movie is that the WWE has this monster truck race going on, and it kind of felt like, in addition to Scooby-Doo, that they crossed over with Wacky Races, because they had this big, over-the-top road race through this crazy course, and I gotta admit, it kind of feels like something the WWE would actually do. Also, I'd like to point out that the Matadors vehicle kind of looks like something you'd see in Power Rangers. What really makes this movie work, I think, is the interactions between the characters. And I don't just mean the interactions between the Scooby Gang and the wrestlers, but even just the wrestlers themselves had some great interactions, because a lot of them were paired off for the race, and there were certain points where I kind of wanted to see more, because they had, in Sheamus's car, he was teamed up with Goldust and Stardust, and there were scenes where they were kind of driving him crazy, and God, it was so funny, and I really wanted to see more of that. There were a couple of good scenes with Stephanie McMahon and Daphne, because they were both rich girls, and they kind of started to become BFFs. One of the best ones was The Miz was teamed up with Paige, and The Miz was being his usual conceited self, and Paige was just having none of it, because she's super cool and great. Okay, I gotta be real about something here. They teamed up Dusty Rhodes with The Undertaker. Now, I get why they did that, because they're both legends, and they were in the Legends car, and they actually worked pretty well together. You know, it's just one of those weird coincidences. But given the circumstances, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, it felt very strange. Okay, well, one other thing I really liked about this movie was there were a lot of scenes where the wrestlers kept trying to take on the monsters themselves. And I don't think I've really seen anything like that in any other Scooby-Doo thing, except obviously WrestleMania Mystery, which was something I liked about that movie too. But it was really cool just to see these wrestlers just straight up want to take out the monster. It was really cool. Now, for those of you who are familiar with WrestleMania Mystery, you know at the beginning, The Miz kind of gets owned by the monster. But in this movie, he actually gets some redemption, and it is awesome. If there is one thing I kind of didn't like about this, it was probably the big reveal at the end, because it was completely ridiculous and over the top even by Scooby-Doo standards, but it didn't really ruin anything. So yeah, I liked this. I liked this a lot. I liked it every bit as much as I liked WrestleMania Mystery. So if you're a big fan of Scooby-Doo or the WWE, check it out. Well, that's all I got for Scooby-Doo and the WWE Curse of the Speed Demon. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of it. My name is Rob, and I love you, Paige! Notice me, senpai!